Hedgehog. So, Sonic the Hedgehog is one game that, I had played for, I don't exactly remember when. So this is one of the games that came out on the regular Sega Genesis. We never had this game. We had, this is the earliest Sonic game, and so yeah. It was November 2015, and I decided that I would do it. So this was the very first Sonic game that came out. It was 1991, 5 years before I was born. And yeah, it was like, I think we visited our friends when we lived in Montana the first time when I was younger, like maybe 7 or something, and they had this game. We usually played Sonic the Hedgehog to Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but, we would eventually play this game, Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Basically, the reason that I didn't do this calendar for a while was, or any of the other Sonic the Hedgehogs, like 2 or 3, I did Sonic and Knuckles, because that didn't have a number to it. You can check this out, but there's no relation. But then, the reason I didn't do 2 or 3 was because I hadn't done Sonic the Hedgehog 1. The problem with Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is that, there's no spin dash. It's probably, being the first Sonic game, it's sort of more experimental and stuff, so it's not as fun as some of the other Sonic games later on. But yeah, there's like, it's the first game. It was made to compete with Mario. I'm not really huge of the competition, whatever, but this game was made to compete with Mario, and so, like, yeah, it was one of the Sonic games that I didn't care much for, but I decided I might as well do it, because, I couldn't do any of the other Sonic games, and I was playing Sonic Generations about the time, and so it was like, they had the very first Sonic game on it, and I decided I'll go ahead and play it. There's still some interesting stuff, but it's not as fun as some of the later Sonic games, like 2, 3, Unleashed, Adventure, Heroes, Shadow, or whatever, but, it's still okay, I guess, for a starter game. So yeah, I decided I'll do it, and it was November 2015, and yeah, I guess the reason I decided, yeah, I just did it, because I had nothing else to do, and it seemed like something that would be fun, and I thought that it would have nice colors and everything, and I think it actually turned out really nice. Okay, so, basically, the style of this calendar, like I said, it's nothing related to Sonic and Knuckles, which, is really, I found out later, part of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but yeah, it has no relation to Sonic and Knuckles, except that it's about Sonic the Hedgehog, and, the calendar scheme. But yeah, what I decided to do here was, for the color scheme, I decided to make it look as close to Green Hill Zone as possible. So you'll see while looking at it, that it tries to look like Green Hill Zone. There is basically the whole idea that, there's a blue sky, then there's a green grass, which, fades from lighter to darker, and off to the side again, like the grass does, and then the ground, like the ground beneath is sort of checkerboarded, where, you have brown and a yellowish color. That's not exactly how it's checkerboarded in the actual level, but if you look here, well, it's actually like that sort of on the poster, but you'll see here that I decided, yes, I'm going to this picture early, but yeah, that's sort of the theme. You can see that every other line of grass is light and the other one's dark. You can see that it sort of like fades from light to dark here in this box here. So yeah, that was sort of an idea that I thought would be interesting. Then you have these checkerboard stuff. You can see that here, how it checkerboards, sort of, with the ground. Didn't do any shadows for the grass, which hopefully nobody minds that. But then, and then you'll notice that surrounding it is sort of like a loop hill, or whatever. You know how Sonic goes on a bunch of loops, so, yeah, and it's sort of checkerboarded. So you can see that there are 3 loops here, and then so like for Green Hill Zone, and then there are rings for the other 4 pictures. And well, I'll just get to that later. But the text font here was supposed to be a white color, because, I don't know, it just looked nice. And it is, this one, however you pronounce it, text font. I thought it looked the most like the original Sonic the Hedgehog game text font. So yeah, that was the idea. You'll see around the pictures, what we have here is, even though I zoom in closer, it changes sizes of these checkerboards, but you'll see around here that there are, these very interesting things of checkerboards. Actually, yeah, I will get to that later, but, you know, so yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog was the first Sonic game. It was one calendar I hadn't done yet. I felt that I had free time to do that, because, you know, not many movies had came out until this month that were, like, necessary calendars. So yeah, here in the center we have a picture of, just the game case. This is the case that you'd see on the video game. I don't know. That was not what I intended. But yeah, here we have a picture. The picture surrounding that is, well, you know, it's Green Hill Zone. There's a bunch of rings and stuff, and, there's the loop that I was talking about. You know, you see these loops here, and they have the same color of the underground, basically, sort of, and so that was the inspiration. So yeah, here's Sonic in just his pose, and being the first Sonic game ever. So here we have a zone called Green Hill Zone. Now, this is not like the Hills Are Alive zone, it's Green Hill Zone. It's one of the most famous zones in Sonic, and there's very similar zones to it throughout the series. It's basically like Green Hills, palm trees, Sonic's running downhill, grabbing some rings. One thing about Sonic games is he doesn't have a health meter, but when he gets hurt, he loses rings, which could either be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, you don't have to worry about running out of lives, but you do have to, or running out of hit points, but you do have to worry about collecting rings if you have none left. Here we have a zone called Marble Zone. Now, Marble Zone is quite a tricky zone. It's where there's a lot of lava and stuff, and so yeah, platforms. And this is one zone that is hard to get through, and it's the second zone in the game, so it's like, whatever. Good thing on Sonic Generations version of it, it lets you retry as many times as you want. Not as many lives as you want, but it gives you as many continues as you need. So yeah. Basically, what I decided to do was put this inside of a ring. As you can see that this is a yellow, like, shape. All of these boxes are in circular shapes, which usually I do squares, but, what I did this time was I decided to do, boxes with very thick lines, and, what I did for the boxes was to keep them that way. And then here we have, so it's inside of a ring, and right here you'll see that I added a light, which is supposed to be a shining kind of thing, that is supposed to be reflecting down from this right here, this text box. I don't know if I made it look that way on the calendar that well. So here's a picture of, let's see, Scrap Brain Zone, I think. So this is a zone that Sonic has to go through. I wanted to do these zones in order, but I ended up accidentally going to here. But here's the zone that he goes through, and here's the saw that's coming down. And this is a crazy zone, like there are actually 3 zones that are quite different from each other. Here I also have the light reflecting, it's at a different angle than the last one. and it's also in a ring, because sort of I tried to have it reflecting from, as I said, this right here. So if you look, it shines down here, so the reflection hits there, and then, you know, so it looks like it's coming from the same light source. So yeah, which is that font. I don't know if the background seems to match up with that. You'll also see here that this hill, let's see, border. Yeah, because I did a pattern for the border, and so I did, you know, just this checkerboard thing. I could have done this, which I'm going to undo. But yeah, these are like, let's see, the border is, weight. How much does it weigh? I'm going to have to check. It's 6 points, so that's a pretty thick border. Here we have Spring Yard Zone. Here is a picture of Sonic just bouncing through the air. This one's also surrounded by the hill or whatever, the loop, which these are so fond of. So you'll notice that doesn't look like a very great loop to be on. But yeah, he's collecting rings. This actually looks more like a painting for some reason than, yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't look like an actual screenshot, but more of a picture. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody modified it wherever I got the picture. So here is also encased within a ring is Labyrinth Zone. Here is a zone that's basically underwater. So Sonic is, you know, there's a lot of spikes. There's water, which is horrible in Sonic games, as you can notice. And then here is a light reflected, also from the same light source, which is a text. And, you know, here's a zone that Sonic is fond of, water, just the overall horribleness of being there. And then there's crystals, and then Monsters University music in the background. Not really, but it sounds sort of like it. And then here we have Starlight Zone. This, yeah, like all the others, it's encased in a ring, and the light reflecting from the source. But yeah, so it's reflecting from there, and then here we have Sonic. He's like, there's a lot of wind blowing, it's a big city in the background. It's hard to know what city it's based off of. This, I think, is considered one of the fastest levels or zones in the game, because, yeah, I don't know where people get that this game's super fast, because this game's sort of slow sometimes, because Sonic is a very slow accelerator and stuff. He can sometimes move fast if he starts moving fast, but it takes a while for him to get up to speed. Here's a fan trying to blow him that way, maybe. And then these platforms are lowering, so Sonic can go down. So yeah, here's a level that is sort of fast. And these fans might actually help with speed. And then, so yeah. Those were the pictures. No, that wasn't that bad. So yeah, this background is more for the center. It's a bluish color. Shape fill. It's a gradient. So yeah, I could adjust it, but I wanted it to be sort of like lighter to the outside and then get darker on the inside. And so that's awesome. Here's what, on the first day of the month, we got time travel by the hour. This is basically time change, but I just could not go with the regular word time change, so I called it time travel by the hour. So yeah, because we traveled through time to an hour. And so that's cool. Here we have Election Day and Inside Out on DVD. And How to Train Your Dragon Book 12. This is actually a book I read. How to Train Your Dragon. I bought Inside Out, and Election Day, I put a star there, I guess. Not a special star like I usually do. I don't know what I was voting for. I probably didn't vote at all. But Inside Out was on DVD. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then How to Train Your Dragon Book 12 was in stores. I should have italicized, or if that's what it's called, italic. Yeah, I should have done it to the whole text, I don't know why I didn't. Here we have the Peanuts movie in theater. This is Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Lucy, Linus, and all these other characters who I'm not exactly sure. The little red-haired girl. This is a Blue Sky movie that I'm sure is the only one my mom likes. So yeah. Cyber Chase Season 10 on air. So basically what was happening was, since I sometimes got bored, I'd watch some Cyber Chase sometimes, and so that was all there was to watch, so I decided Season 10 would be interesting. So yeah. And then, Pokemon Season 3 on DVD, The Johto Journey. This was the complete collection. I wanted to get it, so I could watch it, and everything. And then, here's Veterans Day. And so, yeah, it's not Veterinarian's Day, it's Veterans Day. So yeah, I was watching Pokemon some. It was interesting. Season 3 is interesting because now Ash is sort of helping people rather than, you know, doing totally learning. He's basically stepped forward. So it progressed his story a little bit. Game of Lies in Stores. Now, this is a book series by James Dashner, the writer of The Maze Runner. And so, yeah, it's basically about video games. This is not about Game of Thrones, which I won't watch because that's rated MA. And so, yeah. And then the 18th, the 19th, and then The Hunger Games 3, Mockingjay Part 2 in theaters. So, actually, this is the fourth Hunger Games, but I called it The Hunger Games 3 because it's basically based off the third book. So, yeah. So then there's Hunger Games 3, Mockingjay Part 1, and Hunger Games 3, Mockingjay Part 2. So, yeah. That was in theaters, and so I got to see that. And there was not very good news about that because it was coming out shortly before The Good Dinosaur and Creed. Now, that was going to be like World War III of movies, not exactly. The summer actually was World War III of movies, but unfortunately, not all of them could do well, and Pixar's first movie that didn't do well in theaters, even though I didn't see Creed, I saw Good Dinosaur and Hunger Games. Which is sad that The Good Dinosaur didn't do well. Creed didn't have a huge budget, so that did fine. Hunger Games did fine. The Good Dinosaur was the only one that sort of didn't do as well as anybody would hope. But then it's also the name, like, who would name it The Good Dinosaur? And then, here is Thanksgiving. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't with my family this Thanksgiving. I remember, we helped make Thanksgiving dinner at Hope again, and so, I also walked to the observatory, but it was closed on Thanksgiving, and there were hundreds of people there, and I was like, oh yeah, this is very closed, and there are hundreds of people here. Yeah, that was the first time I walked to the observatory, thought it would be cool. I walked later when it was open, but, you know, sort of like, okay, so it's closed because it's Thanksgiving, and yet the whole world's here. So, yeah. It was sort of a long walk. I got back before curfew. It was interesting, I guess. And then, I guess I was looking for Pokemon 2, the movie, at some point. And then Christmas radio. Here was the day I would allow myself to start listening to Christmas music. So yeah. And there wasn't Christmas music in Montana. There's Christmas music in LA, but I had to listen on the computer because, you know, I didn't have a radio. So yeah. They had Christmas music in Montana, though, that year. Which is mean that they did it the last year I was living there. Didn't do it the year I was living there. Last month's theme was Iron Man 2. Here's Iron Man fighting War Machine, and they're sort of getting mad at each other. So if you want to check out this calendar, you could. And then next month's theme is going to be Delete Object. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So, that was my November 2015 calendar. Thanks for watching it, and bye.